The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone, or good morning if you're on the West Coast. This is Josh LeMaster. I'm one of the co-founders and the Chief Financial Officer of Perfect Golf Event. I appreciate everybody taking some time. It's a lovely afternoon here in Northeast Florida, November 6th, for those, in case you're listening to this on recording. And in a minute, I'm going to introduce my colleague here at Vortex Weather Insurance. But before I do that, let me cover a couple things about why you may be here, why we're here, Perfect Golf Event. This is our, we've been in business for 10 years and have worked with tens of thousands of golf events around the country. And we always, we're finding ways that our events, a lot of which are just once a year annual fundraising events, could protect themselves, especially from rain, other weather issues as well, but especially rain. And we found that kind of traditional event cancellation insurance was, is a good product in some cases, but in other cases it can be a bit tedious, both in the application process and in the claims process. So when we learned about what Vortex does and the way they do it, especially their rain coverage, we were immediately looking for ways to introduce them to our golf events, because reduced risk for our customers is reduced risk for us, actually. So today you'll hear Eric for about 20 minutes. He'll take you through a presentation. We'll leave some room. I'll be watching for if anybody raises their hand or chats online on the tools that you see on your dashboard there. I will watch for that. And then at the end, we'll be sending a recording of everything you're seeing and hearing, along with PDFs of the slides that you're seeing, and of course, my contact information and Eric's contact information at Vortex Weather, in case you have any questions afterwards. So all that said, I just one last thing before Eric gets rolling here is, this year we really took another step for our customers. So, if you aren't a Perfect Golf Event customer, of course, we have a software and website registration application for golf events. And we made the decision that our software customers that upgrade to some of the higher levels of our software would be given at least some level of protection automatically. So if you're an Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace package holder with Perfect Golf Event, you're getting automatically some rain insurance with Vortex Weather, and you don't need to do anything. And if there's a claim, you're going to be notified that there was rain at your event, and then about a couple weeks later, you'll be notified that funds have been transferred into your event account. So that just kind of shows you, how we feel about this product. So. All that said, let me introduce Eric with Vortex Weather. And Eric, why don't you jump in?
Thank you, Josh, and good afternoon, everyone. Very excited to give our 15th webinar of the year. We've got a very large group on our webinar today, so I'm excited about that. And good morning to the folks on the West Coast, like Josh said. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through the presentation. We're going to show you how our product works, but throughout the presentation, we'd like you to think, whether you're a first-time organizer or you've been doing this for a long time, what's the potential impact of rain, whether it's a little bit, a medium amount, or a lot, because we're going to show you that you don't have to get rained out to collect with our product. It's parametric, which I'll explain what that means. It's an index-based product. And also, I'd really like to stress what Josh talked about, on top of the Eagle, Double Eagle, and Ace package that they've offered this year, which has been a huge success, and going into 2026. I've had a lot of people and customers call me for additional increased weather insurance on top of whether it's the $1,500, $2,000, or $2,500 package that comes with those upgrades. But when I get to meet all of you, I can price up your event. I can show you how we do things, in addition to if you are an upgrade customer, and basically help you understand the product so we find the sweet spot of hours and the limit, and ultimately get you protected at the cheapest possible rate. So with that being said, thank you again for joining. This is our 4th year with Josh and their team. They're fantastic. So you're in good hands. So we'd like to say, don't let bad weather slice into your club's bottom line. You can't predict the weather, but you can help protect your business from it. And there's a myth out there that insurance agencies don't know weather, and it turns out we are weather nerds. We're proud of that. Our team has over 100 years of combined experience in the weather risk management industry, and we've been helping protect events since 2008 using data-driven policies that mitigate risk. A little bit about us. We are a subsidiary of MSI Guarantee Weather, which has been in the weather risk management industry for more than a quarter century. And since 2008, Vortex has specialized in insurance products for outdoor events, fairs, festivals, concerts, lacrosse tournaments, you name it. And in 2019, they started offering protection for golf properties, golf tournaments, from small events all the way up to the PGA Tour. We understood that there was a huge need out there. So we started offering it out to the golf market. A question we're asked all the time is, who's our insurance carrier? It's our owner, Mitsui Sumitomo. We are an MGU, so we do everything in-house, and we are rated A+ by AM Best. Okay, here's a picture of me. Nice to meet you. I am the National Director of Sales for all products. Since 2019, I still am a weather derivatives broker. Been doing it since 1998. I was the broker of this group that did all their weather trading globally for over 15 years before they hired me. Before that, I played golf professionally, and I was stationed in Augusta at Augusta National. So I've been around the game. I've played in a lot of tournaments, and I've run a lot of tournaments. So I can help you understand really what you're looking to protect: your expected revenue, your costs, your overnight protection, and offer you several different types of ideas that you'll be able to choose from. A myth out there: in the golf business, you can't fight Mother Nature. We say not so fast. That you can stand up to Mother Nature and help protect your revenue with us, Vortex. Across the country, savvy golf course operators and event organizers are using rain insurance as a risk management hedge. And as a hedge, you want to think about your anticipated heavy play periods, your seasonal monthly hedges, Monday golf outings. Obviously, your golf outing can happen on any day, but multi-day events, holidays, weekends, firecracker tournaments, Memorial Day, member guests. Next year, it's going to be the 250th anniversary of the country, so we're already pricing up a huge amount of events for next summer across all of our events and outdoor events for the country. Okay, so when you think about what's at risk for your tournament, all the pieces within the tournaments and pro-ams, member guests, corporate outings, your play-related revenue, okay? What are the pieces that go into it? The food and bev, okay? The drone drops, the on-course fun, the buying extra balls, the cannon shots, the putting, the extra raffles, extra putts, all those kinds of things. What's at risk to potentially not hit your number? Okay, what's the equation? And I'll help you understand that. So we get down to that exact number that you're protecting. So this is a very important slide: rain insurance versus property and casualty insurance. The chance of sustaining an adverse rain occurrence for a golf event is significantly greater compared to traditional P&C events, auto, accident, fire, etc. So here's the chance of a potential claim on a single day over a 20-year period of car insurance, 0.015, and your home insurance is even lower at 0.003. So then you look at those numbers, those percentages, which are low, which is good, versus here's the country as a comparison, the chance of just a quarter of an inch of rain falling on any single day. This is just between June and August. Obviously, there's spring and fall events too. Significantly greater. And when I price up your event or events, if you're a multi-day event group, I can show you the differences in the different parts of the country, the seasonality, mornings versus afternoons, overnight protection, in all of the months. Here's another myth. Rain insurance is complex, and the good news is Vortex makes it simple. How rain insurance works. Okay, rain insurance is parametric. What does that word mean? It means that rain insurance is triggered simply if the recorded rainfall at your location meets or exceeds the threshold listed in the policy during the coverage period. Okay, this is an index-based product. It's not based off of loss. So proof of loss or event cancellation is not necessary for the policy to trigger and pay a claim. Quick and simple claim processing. Okay, you usually get your money if there's a triggering event sent to you and you receive it in less than 2 weeks. And when you receive the money, it's not like if you have a storm and your roof is damaged and you have to have an adjuster come out there and prove the loss, and then they give you a certain amount of money and you have to spend the money on the roof. With us and our insurance, again, it's an index-based product. So when you get the money, you can spend X amount to the caterer, X amount to the golf course. You can say 50% refund to some of your folks, which will go to golf course rounds in the future, or next year you can use that money, and the weather insurance can help fund next year's event. Okay, again, how rain insurance works. So Vortex uses WeatherWorks claim determination system. It's hyper-local. So we come right down on top of your address, your property. Instead of taking the data from an airport that could be 5 miles away, 15 miles away, or even further, there's basis risk in the reading, because you could have rain at the airport and not at your location, or vice versa. So we eliminate that by coming right down on top of your property through different methodologies and radar technologies through WeatherWorks that work with the NFL, Major League Baseball, and we take it on site. They provide recorded hourly precipitation measurements as little as 0.01, triggering rainfall thresholds as low as 0.01. And then you want to think about, okay, the types of policy options. Obviously, we've all heard of the shotgun coverage. It's a noon shotgun, the golf course is filled up, everyone's on the tee, and hopefully it's 4 and no longer than 5 hours. Everyone finishes at the same time. Extended hours of coverage, okay? Whether you have 2 events in one day, or if you have a 9 o'clock shotgun, I always encourage groups to buy 1 or 2 or 3 hours before, because if there's rain prior to the start of your event and people are coming and it's really crummy, and they turn around or they say, you know what, I'm not going to come, and I'm going to come next year, and you lose 20% of your field or 30% of your field, how much money is that worth to towards your revenue targets? Okay, and then you want to think about those kinds of things and the potential loss, because those extra hours, while it makes the premium go up a little bit, what is that worth to you to have that in the total amount of coverage? And when I price up your event, I'll show you, say, your 5 or 6 hours, but then I'll also show you if you add a few hours onto the front end, so you can see the premium change. And if you're trying to, cut costs, or we understand you're budget conscious, and we work with you on that. We can shave hours in different parts of the policy to make sure that we get down into the nitty gritty and ultimately get you qualified for the right amount of protection for the right cost. Another style that we have is ladder coverage, which means the more that it rains, the more that you're paid out. I'll explain that with a visual here in a second. We also have an escalator product that we built just this year that's been really taking off, where if you bought 1/4 of an inch of rain and it only came in, say, at 0.08, you get paid a percentage up to the 0.08 out of 1/4 of an inch. We're very excited that we launched that this year, and it's really been taking off. Okay, the parametric options. What goes into the equation? The hours of coverage. Hours can vary per day for multi-day events or single-day events. Sometimes I do 2 coverages in one day. I can do an overnight coverage if you own the golf course, so to speak, for the day. And if you get really heavy rains overnight, And then the shotgun, say at 9, you can have a triggering event, which will make up when people are sleeping. But if the golf course is unplayable and it's sunny, you would have been covered. And I'll explain that to you when I get to meet you. The rain thresholds, the amount of rain that must fall for the policy to trigger. We start at 0.01 with our new escalator product, but we can work at different thresholds all the way up. And I'll show you that, the different thresholds and the different premiums that go with it when I price up your event. The limits can vary by day if it's a multi-day event, whether you're looking for 5,000 of coverage, 25, 50, or higher. Okay, so the hourly data, the use of hourly data allows us to concentrate only on the hours when rainfall can negatively impact business operations. So what I was just touching on, so if we eliminate hours in a day when revenue figures are not sensitive, this helps reduce the cost of the insurance. But at the same time, we don't want to lose the meat of the day. So what I'll do is I usually offer customers 2 or 3 different scenarios of hours and thresholds, so you can pick and choose, the best fit, the best policy for your event, because all the events are run differently. Sometimes there's say a registration, and there's an hour of a putting contest, and then there's a late breakfast or early lunch. If you lose people because it's raining in those early hours, that's not good, obviously. So what I would usually do is I'll shave an hour off the back. We put it on the front. So you're protected, because if they're at the golf course usually, and if there's bad rain, and say they have to come in after 16, 17, or 18, usually the event is close to being a success. Also, customers may consider hourly coverage before an event when pre-event rainfall may adversely affect course conditions. 2 hours, 3 hours, or sometimes people say, Eric, we're going to run this right at the shotgun start, but we're having a party or a barbecue after where all the spouses are coming, and there's going to be a big fundraiser or a dance outside, or potentially a concert, right? We can put hours on the front, or we can put hours on the back, or do both. And I'll work with you so you understand that. Here's a grid of data that I usually share with customers. You can see this is in Ponte Vedra Beach. It rains more in the afternoon than it does in the morning. Summertime here, obviously. Myth, rain insurance, too expensive. And in reality, our team works for you to create a policy that fits your needs and budget. We've worked really hard to get the pricing affordable for our customer base. We're proud of that. So the pricing, rain insurance is priced using historical probabilities. Obviously, the location. Arizona is going to be less expensive in the winter than it is in Florida. Seasonality here in Florida, where Josh and I reside. Summertime rains more than the winter. We understand that. Northeast, it rains more in the summertime, in the spring and the fall than it does in the winter. The time of day, usually it's obviously you'll see the price change if your event's in the morning versus the afternoon. And the risk period, the more hours, the more expensive it's going to be with a higher level of protection, including the amount insured. And I'm going to give you several examples after I price up your event. So here's a grid, plain vanilla, 10 to 3 on 10,000 down in Palm Beach Gardens. This is in the winter. If you were to buy A, it would have cost you $420 to cover 10,000 on 0.20. That means if it rains between 10 and 3, hits 0.20 and triggers 2.0 or higher, you're paid, and you're paid in less than 2 weeks. Here's our ladder coverage. So this means that if it were to rain in the hours from 10 to 3 and touch 0.20 and rain all the way up to 0.32, but not touch 0.33, you get 10% of that limit of 150,000 in this example. So you get 15,000. If it were to rain more than that and rain through 0.33, you get the 15,000 and 45,000. And then ultimately, if it were to rain and touch through 0.5, you get the full 150,000 limit. It's step insurance, so you can equate the metrics of loss to the rain thresholds and getting paid back. The more that it rains, the more that you're paid back. Okay, so here's a 3-day event where this group, they had a member guest tournament where the coverage period changed each day, the threshold stayed the same, and the limit stayed the same. You can have one day that's independent of the other 2 days trigger, but these are the kinds of things that we can put in place for you in your event. If you're having a a 2-day event or a gala, say an outside gala, or we're starting to see a lot of pickleball events. I was actually at one yesterday, pickleball and golf. So we can help you really create and craft the right policy if it's a multi-day event. So here's a customer that we've worked with for many years. He had a rain date, and he had obviously a triggering event. So he buys 0.33. It was less than $700. It was in the winter time, so it was a little bit. It was within his budget. He got paid, and then he went ahead and he bought rain insurance for his rain date. So people usually say, Eric, I have a rain date. So I help people understand why I think it's smart to put something in place. So when I get to meet all of you, I'm going to ask you some questions, understand your event, and then I'll help you get to that area that makes the most sense. So here are some of our partners, PGA sections. They all buy from us. Multi-year, PGA Reach, PGA Magazine. I've done a lot of NFL charity events. On the PGA Tour and Champions Tour, the Travelers and the Dicks, multi-year customers. So we write multi-day events for them. Folds of Honor across the country, the different sections they buy from us. Buffalo Group does our marketing, and Perfect Golf Event. Everybody on this call, you're in great hands with Josh and their team. They're fantastic. So here's just a couple more of our partners with some testimonials that we're proud to share. And as we conclude, Josh, are there any questions that, does anybody have their hand raised?
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I appreciate that. And yeah, I've had a couple of direct messages to me. One I can actually answer. So the question was, what happens if they reschedule their event? How does that date get handled? So I can answer that. So if you reschedule within 2 weeks of your event date, your original event date will still be covered because it's inside the 2-week window that that is allowed on the policy. So what happens is we will, or Vortex will still cover that first event date, regardless of the reason that you rescheduled the event. That original date will be covered with rain insurance. And then of course, what a lot of people do is if it were a rain day and they get rain proceeds from the insurance, they use that to then cover the rescheduled date as well. So in our case, that's the way that would work. Is basically your original date gets covered even if you didn't cancel due to rain. And I got another question here about timing, which I'll let you handle this one, Eric. So how does the timing, how far in advance should they buy it, and what does that do to the pricing?
Yeah, sure. Great question. I'm asked this a lot. So the last day to bind a deal when you pay through our credit card portal link is 15 days. And if that falls on a weekend, it's got to be the Friday before. We understand that a lot of groups are budgeting, and sometimes it's up to the last minute, but we don't accept anything inside the 15 days, and that's just to protect us, and it's the forecast window. We do, if you were to bind something today for, say, an event in March or April, your quote today is it's locked for 45 days. Now, we encourage groups to pay as early as you can, make it a line item if you can, because typically the price trends up. But again, we understand that some groups have to wait, but we do encourage that you buy as soon as you can.
Thanks for that, Eric. I got looks like one more question. The gist of the question is what do they need to provide to you to prove that it rained?
Yeah, no, another great question there, Josh. So that's the beauty of our product is we provide you, the customer, with an hourly report. So if you're an Eagle, Double Eagle, or Ace customer, if there's a triggering event, we're sending you the hourly report saying it rained in between these hours, this amount, and the total hit X, so you're going to be getting paid. So we get the weather report. Our meteorologists and data analysts look at it to make sure that it's perfect and 99.9% of the time it is, but we always look at every report. And once we get it, we make sure you, the customer, is getting a check as soon as possible.
Yeah, and I just from experience with the events that have been covered by on the software packages with Perfect Golf Fin, that's taken around 2 weeks to actually have funds back to the customer.
Yep.
So I think we've covered it. I don't see any raised hands. So all that said, thank you so much, Eric, for your presentation. Give us about 30 minutes or so. You'll see all of this come to you by email with all kinds of attachments and links to help you out. And if we can answer any questions, you'll see our contact information there as well. And Eric, I'll let you say goodbye.
Thank you, Josh. And thank you, everyone, for attending today. You're going to get the email information from Josh, but I'd love to speak with you. My information here is on the screen. So just hit me with an email, call me, or text me. I look forward to meeting everyone. And it's never too early to start looking at quotes, even if it's we're already doing policies for next fall. So I look forward to meeting all of you, and thank you so much for attending today.
Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.